Yes guys, welcome back to the Jack C99 Vlogs YouTube channel. A bit of a different video of the day. This is going to be the Hibs Legend Stadium Tour at Easter Road. Guys, make sure to like, subscribe, enable notifications. This is going to be a really good vlog. Stay tuned for this cracker and I'll catch you guys for the stadium tour. This has to be one of the best stadiums in Scottish football. Fully a lot of history as well. First team to play in Europe. Now, a quick lesson for you, right? Hibs were founded by Irish immigrants, and also the only team in Edinburgh to win both trophies, and that's your history books for you as well. David Gray, currently the manager of Hibernian Football Club. $65,840 that. Look at the detail on that. The old Easter Road terracing. That would be the Old West there. Incredible.
Yeah, it was. And play for Celtic, which was against the rules at the time. Fancy Celtic Rangers breaking the rules, eh?
Never.
Who'd have thunk it?
Who'd have thunk it?
No comment. First Scottish club to have under-soil heating. First British club to have shirt sponsorship. Anyone unfortunate enough to own one of those Buckter shirts? But see, when Hibs got sponsorship in front of the shirt, it was like we had murdered somebody. TV companies wouldn't show us on the television. Free advertising, you're not having that kind of stuff. So we had to put the Buckter logo just on a wee kind of 1 inch by 1 inch size to get shown on the television. Nowadays, you've got sponsorship in the front of the shirt, the back of the shirt, the sleeves of the shirt, your shorts, your socks, advertising boards all around the stadium and nobody cares. See, when Liverpool brought their shirt out as sponsor on it a season later, that's fine. Alright, Liverpool, everyone. Hibs did it, like you'd murdered somebody. Undersoil heating. First Scottish club to say to have undersoil heating. Helped us, we brought Manchester United up here for a friendly. Boxing Day. Boxing Day, yeah. First Scottish club to have an electronic scoreboard. Anybody remember it on the roof of the old couch?
Yeah, they work very often.
It worked for about 6 months. 6 months and then it blew and they never bothered fixing it. The thing I remember most about it is the picture on the wall down the bottom there, Hibs 4, Celtic 4. The League Cup quarter final, 1985. We beat Celtic 5-4 on penalties. If I remember rightly, Piers O'Leary, who took Celtic's last penalty, put it over the roof of the cowshed, past the scoreboard and out into the street, and Hibs won 5-4 on penalties. We lost the final that season, unfortunately, at Aberdeen, 3-0 the league on the last day of the season, and we blew the cup the following week. So fingers crossed they can do the same again this season when there's a 6 in it. But we were also the first Scottish club to host a women's international match. Scotland ladies against England ladies. Scotland won 3-0. Anybody want to hazard a guess when that was, the first ever women's international?
1998.
1998?
1891.
1891?
1940.
1949? George's closest, 1881. They played at the old Easter Road pitch across where the Bothwell Street flats are now. And Scotland won 3-0. Ladies football's been on the go a lot longer than people realise. The publicity now with the Women's European Championships and the World Cup. Our own ladies team, as you know, are the Women's Premier League champions. The Premiership trophy is currently on display in the cabinet down in the Chairman's Club, so we'll see that later on.
We were there.
The Ladies Premiership trophy last season. I think gave Rangers and Celtic a bit of a kick up the pants. They've been throwing money at the ladies' teams this season. Our ladies are currently sitting 5th in the Women's Premier League at the moment, so it might not be there anytime soon again. So we'll love getting a photograph with it when we're down in the Chairman's Club. The picture on the wall that the young gentleman refers to is, of course, we were the first Scottish club, or one of the first 2 Scottish clubs to be involved in a game that had VAR. Hand up anybody that's in favour of VAR. I think you're on your own.
I think the referees have got a hard enough job as it is without getting all that put on top of them. Just go and referee the game. I'm looking at it now. When I played, I loved this tackle. Love to let my opponent know and put stuff in. So I think if I was playing nowadays with VAR, I think I would be 2 years in the jail. But as what it is moving forward, I'm just looking at football nowadays, and not every tackle's a yellow card or every tackle's a free kick, and I think the referees have to recognise that. So I'm not in favour of it. I don't quite like it.
When I say straight red card, then they come up with a hooker, so you see them, I can't really what to do. But I always had something with the referee, I sort of say to myself, they're here to referee, let them do their job. I didn't want to shake their hand, didn't really want to get to know them, get on with your job and do it. Never always worked, sometimes you watched it quarter.
Nothing contentious in that game at all. Why they've been up for it since.
The football has to just learn a little bit from rugby union. There's also a vice versa argument rugby union has to learn from football. Because you never...
Favourite haunt Hibs supporters before a game, sadly no longer with us. When Ron developed this area, he brought the name back. You can see in front of you a couple of tables, one over there as well. Made up of turnstiles from the old main stand here, when the stand was demolished in 2000-2001. These got chucked out in a skip. Tom Wright, the club historian, saw them in the skip, managed to get 8 or 9 burly gentlemen together. Somehow they managed to fish them out of the skip, stuck them in storage for over 20 years. When this area was redeveloped, somebody came up with the idea of using them as tables, which I thought was a good idea. Way back in 1923. I love these. It was in 1971. I know I don't look old enough. Hibs against Falkirk. Beat them 6-0. My dad lifted me over the turnstiles. A few nodding heads round about. Your dad would lift you over the turnstiles. You tangle with his pound note. And then there's a wee pedal there. Dad would then put his foot on it. And you'd hear the clattering of the turnstiles. These are over 100 years old. Nice part of the club's history. Could have gone off in a skip. Man, can you imagine the scrap value of them alone would be worth a fortune? Chucking them out in the skip. Crazy. Eddie's side were the first Hibs side to win the Scottish League Cup. 1972, they beat Celtic 2-1 at Hampden. They also won 2 Dryborough Cups. Not familiar with the Dryborough Cup. It was a tournament that was played at the start of the season between the 4 top scoring sides in League Division 1 and the 4 top scoring sides in League Division 2. Hibs won it in 1972, they won it again in 1973. In the tournament in 1972, they had a little experiment where they extended the 18-yard line unless you were beyond that line. It was to encourage attacking football and goal scoring. Hibs beat Celtic 5-3 in the final. The following season, they did away with the experiment. We played Celtic in the final again, beat them 1-0. So, did the experiment work?
Yes.
Probably. You see, if you did that and extended the touch lines out now, with VAR and all the squiggly lines to see if anybody's offside and all that nonsense. But no, they won't do it. Eddie's side, however, probably not best remembered for winning silverware, which is a bit of a shame. Actually, it's not. Because what they're best remembered for is obviously what they did on the 1st of January 1973, crossed to the other side of the city, and up that lot 7-0 on their own patch. 7 going on 17. That was actually my first Edinburgh derby. It was also at Tynecastle. They lost that one 4-1. Eric Shadler scored with a flying header past his own goalkeeper. Absolute beezer it was. That was the first time though Hearts had scored against Hibs for 6 seasons. 12 games they went. Look who's on the wall over there. Jimmy was my brother-in-law's uncle. I was lucky to speak to Jimmy a number of times about his career here at Hibs, and particularly that game. Morning in the game, Cliff, he said I was picking up Pat Stant, legendary captain of Eddie Turnbull's side, greatest ever Hibs player in my opinion. I've turned up at his door and Pat says, Jimmy, go and sit in the living room and watch the telly for 5 minutes. So Jimmy says, I'm watching the telly and there's this programme on the telly. He's got this black hat and a black mask and a big black cape and he's got this sword and everywhere he goes with the sword carves the letters Z. Batman. Oh, man doesn't have a sword. When did Batman have a sword? For goodness sake. So he's like, Z for Zorro. And sword. And he's like, and I'm thinking, the first part of the letter Z is like the number 7. And just at that, Pat walks into the room. And I said to him, says, Pat, we're going to score 7 against this lot today. And Pat's like, aye, fine, Jimmy, whatever. And we did. We scored 7. Maybe more. Now, I don't know if that's actually a true story, but that's what Jimmy told me. I kind of thought it's a good story to share with you. It'd be nice if it was true.
This looks so awesome.
He went on social media and he asked Hibs fans, send me as many pictures of Mr. Hibs as you can, from all different angles. He got loads of pictures in the Burton Stadium, basically from pictures.
You've also got a
He's
little
got
ball
it
up front.
absolutely spot on.
Oh, wow.
Anything he's missed,
Look what's fell
even
off.
down to the dark seats in the famous 5 stand, director box seats. Now that guys like Cristiano Ronaldo, 40 years old, winning Nations League with Portugal. Luka Modric, 39 years old, last season playing in the Champions League with Real Madrid. I asked Jimmy, I said, Jimmy, how do you think you would have got on in the modern regime? Jimmy says, happily match me with steak and chips. He says, then I'd go and run about for 90 minutes on the pitch. We'd come in, we'd jump in the big bath, and then we'd head up to the pubs in Easter Road and have a few beers with the fans. A few of the guys might have a cigarette. You're thinking, no wonder you were done by the time you were 30. You know, these guys were dropping down the leagues at 30, 31. Now Ronaldo's playing at 40 in the Nations League final. A lot of people ask, young players coming through the academies at clubs, why do so few of them make it? The reason is they haven't got the willpower. You know, you look at young guys, one there, this little fella there. Either of you guys fancy being a professional football player when you're a bit older? Yep, put your hand up if you like McDonald's. Dominoes, all that kind of stuff.
Never forget me. I never done any of that.
What about going out for a beer with your pals on a Thursday or a Friday night? This is why young players don't make it. They haven't got the willpower. They can't give up on the McDonald's or the Burger Kings or the KFCs.
The next game day, and the buzz in his dressing room, he says, you ought to see this wee guy that was on trial. I says, oh, I've heard it all before. The next minute, he come in, he got changed next to me. Within 10 minutes, he nutmegged me. Started laughing. 10 minutes later, nutmegged me again.
First game of United, John.
We've got, that's where I made his debut. I said, we've got a
I
real,
keep Jennifer doing much against them.
real footballer on our hands. The boy was an absolute genius of a footballer. And he come up with the best quote we used to on, especially when Alec McLeish was here on the Tuesday. We used to do a lot of running on a Tuesday. So we were doing all our running, we were finished, we were all absolutely exhausted, lying down. And in the corner of my eye, I seen him coming up with a cup of coffee. And I lost the place. I said, you doing a bit of work? He's sort of drinking his coffee, just put it down, and you come up with the best quote I've ever heard. He says, listen boys, you boys carry the piano, I'll play the piano. When I had him at Falkirk, he says to me, if you ever ask me to go in the gym, then I'll retire. But the players at Falkirk knew he was a genius, he was a match winner, so they put up with it. But on the flip side of that, let me tell you, see when the ball was on the training pitch, and when the first team were finished and the ball was still out with the kids, he would want to go and join in with the kids. As long as the ball was there, that was his gym equipment. As long as the ball was out, and he was absolutely, he would train hard. I would have played him, got the best out of it, see where I went. But Big Alec had a choice to make, and it sort of backfired, I suppose, a little bit on Russell, because Russell then moved on to Rangers, and Big Alec went to Rangers. Signed with Celtic at Hibs,
And when I first come to Hibs, it wasn't like that, it was the old slope. We were jumpers for goalposts. When I say that is jumpers for goalposts. We would come in the morning, where are we going to train? And up at the, we trained all over. We've trained at Wardy School, we trained at the other place behind the King's Manor. We trained all over the place, anywhere we could get a training pitch. We trained at Letham Park, where the BBs trained, anywhere. It wasn't until big Alec McLeish come in that Alec really sort of must have found the keys to the safe with Rod Petrie, signing players that I felt that the fans deserved. But going back to that, so when Jockey got first signed me, my first Edinburgh Derby game, I got sent off. We luckily still got away with 0-0. Jim Jeffries and Billy Brown were my managers at Falkirk for 5-6 years. What happened was the ball come in, Jules Rousseau come to catch it, I clattered them. I said, he's not coming to get that, making all the Hearts players were going daft. And the boy Stephen Pye is dead now, God rest him. He had a go and I just patted him on the head and he fell down like a ton of bricks. Referee never seen it, but the linesman put his flag up, so the referee sent me off. Having played for Jim Jeffries and Billy Brown for 5 or 6 years, I'm saying I'll get a bit of sympathy going off here. So walking off, not having heard this sort. Down the tunnel, you an animal, you're a disgrace. And I went, oh Jesus Christ, that was a bit hard. And it stuck with me, and I'm saying, right, every dog has its day, I've got a bit of karma here, karma. We got the Hearts team on the bus for some unknown reason, no it mattered. Hearts kept us waiting in the tunnel. I mean, when we're standing waiting in the tunnel, you know, you just get one of the moments, the veins were sticking out, I was up to 90, and you just get one of the moments, I just turned around and I looked, and right behind me was big Sean Dennis, 6'2", big miner for 5. One guy in football I wouldn't mess with. I would fight anybody in football, big veggie, wouldn't go near big veggie. He was behind him, Dirk Lehman, 6'2", behind him, Mix who's part of line, he's got a head the size of a bowling ball. Behind him, Frank Sosie, just class all over him. Behind him, Stuart Lovell, it would go all day. Behind him, Pat McGinley. Right at the back of the queue, like happy with a fag on. And you're just sitting looking, you're going like, aye, we've got this today. And then the Hearts team come up, and Hearts had a few Hearts players, French players at the time, paying homage to Frank, because Frank's the legend and the god. And you just go, there's only one winner of the day. Big Elvis was the captain of Hearts at the time, come up, all the best, John. There we absolutely battered them. And then Kenny Miller come on as a young laddie and scored the third goal. When he scored the third goal, you see Tynecastle just not a jumbo in it, and it was just all the Hibs bouncing. The last 10 minutes of the game, that was probably the best feeling I've had as a Hibs player and as a Hibs captain. The worst, obviously, is when we got relegated the year before. The year before that, we stayed up against Deirdre on a playoff. Next again year, we got relegated. So that was really disappointing. That was probably the hardest part of my career.
But was it a straight red card?
Of course, straight red card. And it was John Rowbottom actually, the referee, that sent me off. And John, actually, I speak to John now. John said, never seen it. It was the linesman that gave me the instruction. They're different. You get the feeling, home or away, they're more incapable of beating the opposition. And that's a good feeling to have. That's a real good feeling to have.
Dirk Lehman, did you really nail his boots to the floor?
I did, he fancied himself as this, that, and again, he used to come in and it was the blow dryer route and all that stuff and the put on and all that. And I was injured. I mean, there's nothing worse when you're an injured player, you're bored. And Dirk had all the best of gear and all that stuff, and one day I was just pissed off at him, and he's gave me the nails. So he had his shoes, big fancy shoes, and I nailed them, stuck the socks in. All the boys knew about it, and when they went to get his shoes, he couldn't have pulled the socks out and seen the nails right through his shoes. So he was chasing me for weeks and weeks. He was going to kill me. The boys really were a good bunch of boys. I would never have left Celtic if it wasn't for any other team. When I was at Celtic, Tommy Burnstown, Big Alan Stubbs, Big Alec, even when I left, with the players that carried on to signing, the boy Paco Luno and Big Larson and all these guys. You know, what a great job. When you're going to coaching and management, sometimes you need a wee bit of a hand, eh?
Interesting you mentioned Alan Stubbs there taking your place at Celtic, John.
Aye.
Then the 2 years managers won the Scottish Cup.
I won it. Well, as you say, with Inverness, we won it 2015. Had to make sure we polished it up for Hibs. So can always see when all the Hibs say you won the party. I said, well, I won it before you. So, but it was great. It was great. But even in terms of coming in here to get the opportunity, I'll always be grateful. Rod Petrie for giving me the opportunity to come and manage Hibs. It wasn't always going to happen. Then when I was doing so well at Falkirk, the chance come up. I just felt it was a chance that we couldn't refuse.
The corner cabinet there where John is, the Celtic Cross was presented to the club by Celtic when Ron Goblin sadly passed away. And one was shut, and the award that we presented to Joel Murray, the current Hibs ladies manager. We have an award each season where we present as the ladies recipient this year, Jamie Carragher, who played his entire commitment with the awards in the centre circle at half time, is the Skoll Cup that Hibs won in 1991, the League Cup sponsored by Skoll. Probably the worst brand of lager that was ever invented. Should have beat them. Dropped into the Conference League, beat Partizan Belgrade, should have beat Legia Warsaw. And quite typical Hibs, isn't it? Should have, would have. They get crowds of over 14,000 playing in the ground. That's a real sleeping giant. On the board behind me in 1919, as a result of Spanish flu, at the end of the Great War, there was a Spanish flu pandemic swept the world. Dan sadly caught Spanish flu, passed away. He's buried in the cemetery behind the famous Five Stand. He lay there until 2013 in an unmarked grave. His family found out about this, and in conjunction with the club, they commissioned a Celtic Cup and a Scottish League Championship victory. So probably fitting that our greatest ever manager is on all the means under the sun.
Show you Frank, another one there, John Collins, just looking at John's list. And if you didn't know it, sit down with him for half an hour, you'll soon find out.
I see, I mean, it's indicative. Yeah, you'll need to nip into one in the away dressing room if you go right up the far end.
Wow, that's nice. Look at that. It's bloody freezing out there.
For requirement, they're just there because we've jazzed it up a wee bit more for our own players. Things like the mobile phone chargers there. Have a series of like wooden panels on the walls, linoleum on the floor, the big bath in the corner. What are these things? I said, they're for charging your mobile phone. And only the chairman was allowed to use it. He said, these boys nowadays don't know they're born. David Gray's wee room on this side here.
It's just been
It's good to see him back.
insane. The famous harp. This is actually insane. There's the dugouts in there. Famous Five Stand.
16.
Hibs dugout. Hibs badge over there. away-in dugout as well. This is Easter Road. Yeah, so guys, this is the press bit where they do the football and that. Look how sick this is. It's absolutely incredible. Nice and smart as well. Show you the history hangs here.
What are they for? Is that all the...
It's just different games.
Right.
That before. Mr. John Hughes.
Well, that's mine. That's how I spend my time.
There's John Boyle. Effie Ambrose. Marvin Bartley. Effie. Luke Amos. Paul McGinn. Ryan McGinn.
You just the names you go over.
Julio. Sal.
Lefties.
Hello!
Don't know why.
Hello.
He wasn't Friday.
James Jaggle. Jimmy Jaggle. Still gone. Murray Johnson.
Favourite player.
Who are you?
I do events, so I'm just covering for
Even reeling it again. That's a story and a half, son, isn't it?
Eh?
That's the story.
Yeah.
You were 1991, the worst days of my life. Did you see the film about Hibs and Hearts on BBC recently? No? Should look up on BBC iPlayer. John Robertson nearly got sacked from Hearts because he kept the hands off Hibs company. And Wallace Mercer went.
Wow. These look so pretty. This place is awesome. This place is amazing as well. All the Hibs tops over the years did the first team to wear the Hibs. It's crazy, yeah. much colours with football tops over the years. It's crazy. And then there's our anniversary kit that we've yet to see Hibs wear again. That's going to do it for today's vlog. I hope you guys enjoyed the stadium tour at Easter Road, guys. I really enjoyed it today. It was really interesting to hear a lot about the history of Hibernian Football Club, and my favourite part was just listening to John Hughes talking about his favourite moments as a Hibs player, and just Cliff Pike talking about memorable moments of the club as well. And to see the chairman's suite and the club's dressing rooms as well was really fun as well. I like how they've redesigned it as well. I like the redesign of the tunnel where the players walk out as well. That, guys, if you enjoy what you see on the YouTube channel, make sure you like, subscribe, enable notifications so that you don't miss out on future uploads on the YouTube channel. And guys, that's going to do it for today's vlog. I will catch you guys for Hibs v Rangers at Easter Road next weekend. Today's shout outs, as always, go out to Matty Fallon Bangers, CM Vlogs, the Young Footy Vlogger, and Peter Henderson. Catch you guys for Hibs v Rangers at Easter Road next weekend, Sunday the 1st of February in the William Hill Scottish Premiership. And until then, guys,
Facing it all, fearless.